So, 2 winners so far today. Harris Ali and Thomas Potter were your first 2 race winners for Honda Cadets here today. Let's have a look through your grid for heat number 3 for Honda Cadets. So it's Sam Hayes and Max Hausigo on the front row. Harris Roberts, the points leader. On the inside of him will be Alfie Forrester with Stanley Clark and Harry Samuel, row number 3. Thomas Percox and Max Williams, row 4, with George Ralston and Lewis Hall completing row 5, completing the top 10. Alex McCulloch and James Winstanley, row number 6. Row 7, it's Amy Peacock and James Fabricius. Row 7, that's row 8, it's going to be Ayrton Rai and Harris Ali, with Jensen White and Maximus Lewis completing the top 18 drivers. Down the order, top 20 completed by Rio Wardali and Freddie Lines. Josh Owen and Alex Lynn, row 11. Max Grotrex and Thomas Potter, followed by Ralphie Brandstrom, Ethan Charles, Tom Drake, Isaac Huburn, Scarlett Percox and Bobby Pete. 30 Honda Cadet drivers ready to go racing for 8 minutes plus an additional lap. So Donald Fuller's now asking the question, how far is the track from GYG? You know what, Donald? I'm going to have a look. Whilst I have a short time. Don't know how. Okay, right. Via the M6, Donald Fuller, it's 3 hours and 35 minutes, which is 196 miles. You actually have to go past, well, you have to go in smack bang in between Manchester and Liverpool, and you'll go past the likes of Blackburn, Lancaster, Bolton, Warrington and Chester along the way to get to GYG. So 3.5 hours approximately to get here from, well, between here and there. So hopefully that answered your question. Yes. great quip by James Fitchew, our broadcast director. If you start now, you might make it before the lunch break, or you might actually make it before we actually get to the finals. Callum Grotrex saying good luck to Max. Plenty of banter behind the scenes here. This is why I love karting. The amount of banter that we all have is quite funny. So the driver's now being released from the dummy grid, just off of the entry ramp onto this 1,030-metre circuit. So it's been 2 different winners from 2 different heats. Talia Jones going, come on, Alfie. That's Alfie Forrester. But the top 20, after all 4 heats have been done and dusted, will then decide the top 20 going through into the A final, which effectively is one of the big events, and the finals are a lot longer for the drivers. But we will have a Honda B final. And we do have some novice drivers as well. Nathan Ethan saying, go on Freddie Lines. Harry will be saying, come on Alex, from Harry the Isle of Man. That's Alex McCulloch. So Isaac Huburn and Scarlett Percox, one of the, well, some of the novice drivers that we do have, and at the end of the weekend we do give away a top novice trophy in respective classes. And that's always a nice thing to do, is that when the drivers are learning their trade, their racecraft, makes a big difference. It makes them feel a lot more appreciated that anyone can come into a championship, might be a novice or whatever, and still. Oh, right, 95 has just had a moment. That's James Winstanley, and that is on the that's on the apex of Sunny Bend. John Fairgreave saying good luck, Josh Owen. James Winstanley makes his way back onto where he will be on the grid, which will be row 6. So as they get James Winstanley into position, grid will now be cleared ahead of 8 minutes. Leo Jackson, yes, we do guest rounds. We do open up the invitations. So literally for the first couple of weeks after each round, we open it to the members. And then we also open it up the week after that for the guest rounds. So keep your eyes peeled on cadetkartchampionship.co.uk and juniorkartchampionship.co.uk for further information, and also keep an eye on our social media channels as well. Good luck to Amy Peacock, says Nina Brooks. Amy starting down on row number 7. So they're just making sure that everything's in order ahead of, got to make sure that the grid is in the correct position ahead of going racing. So 8 minutes on the clock plus an additional lap. Red lights on the gantry. Revs rise, lights are out, we are off and underway. Who's going to get the run to the chicane first? It's going to be Sam Hayes, followed by the number, I think that might have been, well, Harris Roberts is trying to get through. 2 wide, 3 abreast at some point. So we've had a little bit of a spin, and that's the number 6, Alex Lynn. Oh, and we've had a nasty incident on the straightaway down towards McRae's, and the number 33, that is Thomas Percox. Kart is right, red flag straight away. I'm not at all surprised. Great call. Thomas Percock's kart is in a very, very difficult state at the moment. Thomas is probably a little bit winded as well, but the best thing to do, we've now got a red flag situation through an incident. So we'll be back in just a couple of moments' time.
he slid out, went into the tile, spun around. I had to go right round the outside.
Driven Dreams, take 1.
Driven Dreams.
This isn't a sport, it's a lifestyle. And it does take over your life.
It feels nerve-wracking and also very exciting.
The entire family has to support this to get to the level that he's at.
If you fear of crashing, there's no point in doing it.
Be able to drive a car that goes 100 miles per hour.
Just had no fear to just send someone down the inside.
It'll be quite physical and exhausting, but I'm going to have to pull through and do it. Obviously, motorsport is the dream job.
I don't know, am I allowed to say anything or not?
No, because then people will find out and use it against us.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to continuing live stream coverage of the third round out of 8 for the 2022 Cadet Kart Championship and Junior Kart Championship season. My name's Alex Goldschmidt. Here at Rowrah in Cumbria, we have had a lengthy bit of a delay because of an incident involving Thomas Percox, the number 33. There was a multi-kart incident. Medical teams are on site at the moment. There is one other kart that is just off of the chicane. So the main thing is that Thomas Percox's kart was not 100% right after the incident, so they have actually lined up the remaining cadets on the entrance into St. John's, which will then bring them into the final couple of corners at Sunny Bend and Paddock. So it just goes to show with regards to racing, the motorsport is dangerous. We all know of the risks. The main thing is that hopefully everything's all okay with Thomas. Good to see that people, Harry will be saying we call Alex Pocket Rocket, Alex McCulloch. Nice to see that people are getting involved with the chat with us here at CKC and JKC, and a big thank you to Alpha Live with James Fitcher and the team here. Doing a great job as always with their fantastic live stream coverage, bringing it all to you live as it happens. A little bit of love being shown for Alfie Forrester. And it's his mum watching. Love you millions. I really like the fact that we're able to provide you all with live stream coverage of the action as it happens. So there is the number 83 kart. That's Freddie Lines, who was at the sharper end of the grid in one of the previous heats. And he's lined up behind the number 20. That's Thomas Potter. So at the moment, Harris Ali and Thomas Potter are the two race winners so far in Honda Cadets. Right, okay, some further updates. Junior Pro Kart Heat 1. Sebastian Pereira won the race by just over 2/10 ahead of... Oh! There's a dog in a raincoat there. Dog in a poncho, a bit like Chris, one of our cameramen. There you go. So we're going to now set them away, obviously with that being on the very first lap. Now, just as I was saying, Christian Oblak got a 5-second time penalty. There's Chris, our cameraman. Jazz hands is all I'm saying about that one. Oh, dearie me. Get him a cape and he'll think he's Superman. My goodness. Reece Knight got a 5-second time penalty for incorrectly positioned front fairing, as did Amy Frame. So it was Maximus Shield and Sophie Pawsey that actually ended up being in the top 3 as they're bringing the Honda Cadets round. Tyler O'Neill confirmed as the Heat 2 winner for Micromax, and Tom Carter, Heat 2 winner for Junior Rotax. Micromax in terms of any penalties issued. Toby Jukes, 5-second front fairing. Samuel Lardii, also front fairing. Caden Simpson got pinged with a 5-second time penalty for an overtake under yellow flag conditions. And in Junior Rotax, Bartek Filipiak, the second driver this weekend to get hit with the 5-second time penalty for tram lines. Dziugas Pravilonis, Catherine Potter and Bartek Filipiak all getting 5-second time penalties for incorrectly positioned front fairings. So Bartek Filipiak's race went from bad to worse because he got 2 5-second time penalties. Still at the moment awaiting for results for, we are waiting to get Junior Pro Kart Heat 2, which will bring us nicely to the lunch break. So this is going to mean that our schedule is going to be even more tightly packed. But a big thank you for everyone for sticking with us. We're getting some completely random shots. You know what? Tell Chris Simpson to point his camera at the track, please, James Fitzhugh. I don't want... I know that was not your... No, that was completely 100% Chris Simpson. Chris, you have been warned. There's always something random, and it's normal. I've worked with Chris many a time, and I know that he can be random at times, and that was definitely one of those random moments. So... Oh, dearie me. That just goes to show that when we get these sort of breaks in proceedings, the camera operators, well, some in particular, decide to go off on a tangent, and that's what we've had today. But nevertheless... Oh, dearie me. You know what, James, I've got a really good nickname for Chris. Poncho Vida. Poncho Life. What was it? Someone thought he... It's really funny, the lengths that a cameraman will do, or camerawoman will do, to keep themselves protected against the elements. There's right, I recognise that familiar figure on the right-hand side. Man there, well, not the one in the HR racing coat, but the man sort of at the top. That's James Roberts, Harris's dad. And there's the rest of the family. They sleep 5 in their van. So grid is being cleared. Oh, hang on. Oh, dearie me. So we've got the likes of Harry Hurstgrover, Sandro Ballesteros, Jacob Jukes, all playing silly beggars down there. Just off of Paddock Bend. And one of the drivers decided to run away. Not too sure why. There are the Honda Cadets lining up. There goes the gaggle of junior Rotax drivers. So, right, so Thomas Percox will not take the restart, of course, with the incident that happened. There's Scarlett Percox, the number 34. Very similar designs in terms of the number plate, the number boards, and also, right, we've got a little bit of a situation developing with Thomas Potter in the number 20, younger brother to Catherine, who's running in one of the junior classes. Catherine running as the number 2. Yep, so there's Josh Owen's dad, Alex, there. Just keeping, oh, right, so they're just having a look at, not too sure what there was. There you can see, that is on the very top of the hill, looking over Iredales and the back straight before the Stuart S's. So someone's definitely with their, looks like a VW Transporter Caravelle up there. Sorry, bit of automotive anorak there from me. They've definitely got a good vantage point. They can see the whole circuit from up there. So looking a little bit further down the grid. See the likes of Maximus Lewis in the 46. There were a couple of karts involved in the incident along with Thomas Percox. So we are not going to show any replays of that. Just out of, right, hand up from Harry. You know, yeah, Harry Samuel and, who else has just put, Alfie Forrester. They've just both put their hands up. There's something going on at the front of Thomas Potter's cart. So Thomas's dad there, along with Alex Owen. They've got Lauren and Luke. They're just basically saying, right, come on, get off the grid. Need to get the race going. Everyone wants lunch. So do I. Right, okay. Quick clean of the visor for number 22 of Harry Samuel, as now we attempt to get this race restarted. Red lights on the gantry for 8 minutes plus an additional lap. It's the restart. We are lights out and off and away, and another good start once again from Sam Hayes. Leading the field, and Harris Roberts up the inside through into second. We've had a spinner already, and that's the 79, and another coming together. That has put karts left, right and centre. Involved in that, 17, Amy Peacock. Honda Cadet for her today. Well, she's doing double duty, Honda Cadet and Micromax, and also involved in that, I think might have been the 44 of Lewis Hall, as they're all trying to make their way through McRae's. As, the number 11 has just had a spin. That is, oh, dearie me. It's not going well here, is it? James Winstanley, there's Ralphie Branscombe, there's the number 11 of Sam Hayes, the 11-year-old based out of Dukenfeld out of Cheshire, which is about a couple of hours' drive here. There's Amy Peacock managing to make up a couple of places in the meantime, the number 17. There's the number 14 kart, that's Isaac Huburn, who was at the back end of the grid when things got underway. But leading the field, and he's galloped away, is Harris Roberts, the number 45. And he's got a lead over Max Hausergo of 1.5 seconds. Max Williams up from 7th to 4th. Harry Samuel up to P4. Head of Lewis Hall, James Fabricius completes the top 6 as they filter their way down in towards McRae's. There's Fabricius. Just behind is number 51 of Stanley Clark. The youngster having a better time round. Youngster based out of Thursked, North Yorkshire. Second year in the Cadet Kart Championship, aged just 11. A little bit sideways there as Lewis Hall applied the power. Now someone went very, very wide coming through. Might have been maybe Thomas Potter coming through on the exit of Iredales. 6 minutes and 11 seconds still to go, plus an additional lap. Thomas Potter trying to make up some moves up the order. But Harris Roberts is away and clear. It was 1.5 seconds. Second, it's now Max Williams. What has happened to Max Hausergo? Well, he's battling away. He looks to be with Harry Samuel, as a little bit further behind. James Fabricius on the inside through Paddock Bend on Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall keeps ahead of the number 91, going up the incline into the chicane. And a little bit further ahead of them, Harry Samuel on the back bumper of Max Hausergo going through. There's Fabricius up the inside of Hall through McRae's. Fabricius drifts a little bit wide. Hall gets back through. That nearly opened the door for Stanley Clark in the number 51. There goes again Fabricius. takes a tighter line, gets the power down, this time gets the traction he needs and pulls in front of Lewis Hall, who's right on the back bumper. So we're nearly at the completion of 3 minutes of this race, as Lewis Hall closing in on the back bumper of James Fabricius, going through the stewardesses. 5 1/4 minutes to go. Harris Roberts is pulling away considerably. That gap was 2.4 seconds at the end of lap 2. Lap 3 now about to be completed. Youngster based out of Merthyr Tydfil in Wales, not too far from Abergavenny. 4th place last year in the championship. He's now extended his lead, 3.144 seconds. This is a great little battle. That's got the likes of the 58, Jensen White, Tom Drake, Ethan Charles. Amy Peacock is in there as well. She's trying to make a move up the order. And where is Peacock? She's ahead of Jensen White. And now she's going to go for a move on George Ralston in the 99. Up through into McRae she goes. And it's 3 abreast. Peacock having to go a little bit wide coming out of the corner with the amount of understeer that they're having to counteract through these wet weather conditions, as we're halfway down on the timer. A bit further back, that's the number 69 of Freddie Housigo. He's battling away with the likes of Rio Wardali and Harris Ali as well. Harris Ali winning the first heat earlier on today in the number 76. Alfie Forrester has got past Rio Wardali in the meantime, so that's a change for position. Harris Roberts, 1 minute 4.038. His lead now extends to 3.7 seconds ahead of Max Williams. Harry Samuel and James Fabricius, 3/10 apart as Fabricius closes in on the number 22 coming through the exit of the chicane off of the start-finish straight. Ralphie Branscombe up to 22nd ahead of, well, behind Sam Hayes. Freddie Housigo rounds out the top 20 as Fabricius closing in once again on Harry Samuel. This is for 3rd on the road. 3 minutes plus an additional lap still remaining. There are battles up and down the order. Making positions, Harris Ali up 2 places from 19th to 17th. Alfie Forrester from 20th to 18th, ahead of Rio Wardali. And Freddie Housigo, who complete the top 20, a little bit sideways there, going through the stewardesses for one of the drivers. As we head into the last 3 minutes. All 29 drivers still running that restarted. We had 30 with no Thomas Percox taking the restart due to that hefty incident on the first attempt of getting the race underway. Less than 2.5 minutes to go. Harris Roberts, 1 minute 3.891, but Thomas Potter, once again the number 20, based out of Balburn in Durham, 2019 Teesside Bambino champion. He's also the cadet lap holder there. And he was also the Rowrah champion, so he knows this track well, does the number 20. Keep your eyes on him for the next 2 minutes plus an additional lap, so around about three and a bit laps of racing. There's the number 51, Stanley Clark, holding station in 7th place at the moment. But Thomas Potter really trying to pull on the gap and took a second out of Alex Lynn on lap number 5. Just in Delta pace at all. Oh, right. Thomas Potter, I've just seen, has been given the black flag. So black flag for Thomas Potter, which means that he needs to park the kart. So Thomas Potter will have to park that kart. That will dump him down out of 9th, and that could possibly put him into the B final, the top 10 of which will qualify for the A final later on today. 1.25 minutes still to go. Harris Roberts now has a 5-second lead and climbing ahead of Max Williams. Harry Samuel rounds out the top 3 ahead of James Fabricius. Max Housigo, Lewis Hall and Stanley Clark. That's going to mean that Alex Lynn and Amy Peacock will round out the top 9. Oh, round goes the 44 of Lewis Hall. And that was coming out of Iredale's. He now manages to bounce up and down in the seat and think, oh, I've dropped the ball there, haven't I? Real shame for Lewis Hall. Been steady all day so far as we head into the last 40 seconds of the race. Plus an additional lap. Harris Roberts is only looking forward. The youngster, aged 11, one of the older drivers in this field, starting from age 8, one of which will be the likes of Rio Wardali, Jensen White, Maximus Lewis, who are 8 years of age. So a lot of them will have moved up from the Bambino ranks to jump into Honda Cadets. Some drivers will go from either Cadets, from Bambinos into either Micromax or Cadets. It's their personal preference. Right, the timer has hit 0. Harris Roberts is halfway through the lap, so will probably be approaching Iredale's, I would think, momentarily, or might already be on his way down towards the stewardesses, because next time around, the number 45 from Merthyr Tydfil will get the final lap board. And he's now coming through St John's, is the youngster, number 45. Gap last time around was 5.685 seconds. It's been a pretty nice drive from the youngster. And both he and his dad and the rest of the family have missed Harris's uncle's wedding yesterday. That's the commitment these youngsters will have, as now Harry Samuel coming under fire from James Fabricius as we head on to the final lap of asking. Through into the chicane for the final time. And Thomas Potter, unfortunately, has parked the kart, so the number 20 is out of the race. A little bit further back, the 83 and the 7, Freddie Lines and Ria Wardali are battling away for position. That is for 21st. There is the move. There it is. Fabricius ahead of Samuel. That was greatly timed by the number 91. Based out of Barnsley in South Yorkshire. A little bit of a contretemps here as well, including the likes of... That is more than likely the 45 is in there. Oh no, that's the 49, and that kart has gone around. That's Ethan Charles, as we've... Harris Roberts has taken the race victory. Second, it's going to be Max Williams. It's going to be a run to the line for third, but it's going to be the number 91, James Fabricius, pips Harry Samuel to third place. Max Hausergo in fifth, ahead of Stanley Clark, who had a great run, the number 51, based out of North Yorkshire. P6 ahead of Alex Lynn, Amy Peacock, Lewis Hall and Tom Drake round out the top 10 positions ahead of Jensen White, Ayrton Rai, Hannes Ali, Bobby Pete, Sam Hayes, Ethan Charles, Alfie Forrester, Freddie Hausergo, Ralphie Branscombe and George Ralston round out the top 20 positions ahead of Freddie Lines, Rio Wardali, Alex McCullough. Will then have Maximus Lewis, Isaac Huburn, James Winstanley and Joshua Owen rounding out the 27 strong drivers that will complete the full race distance of 9 laps. Scarlett Percox still running, but she's a couple of laps down, so she will take the checkered. Isaac Huburn becomes the top novice in this particular race, with Thomas Potter unfortunately black flagged and retiring on lap 6.